Hello and good evening. Yes, I have a strange light because the other light got thrown away. Um, so here I am. Greetings from not still so sunny Saint Tropez, but I believe the weather in Cheltenham is snow, so it's not quite as bad as there. So cheers to all the lovely people in Cheltenham who are on their Guinness and whatever else. Um, you know, it's a wonderful place to be down there. Good day to Francis and Andrea. Yes, I would like to begin by apologizing again for the antics last night. I won't say much more about it because you know who is present but sleeping. Um, but I'm very, very sorry. Um, I just think it's very, very sad. So there we go. Good evening to Kathy in Malta. Yes, good evening to Poppy. Hello, and there are more of you coming in. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, but that's how things work when you are with certain kinds of people. Um, I'm only 7 minutes late, but there we go. Right. Thank you very much for your kind words, Claire. Good evening to Cheryl in Cornwall. So we have Cornwall and Malta, amongst other places. I don't know where everyone else is from, and there's more people coming in. We have lots of topics to discuss, but the focus of the evening will be the woke. Anyway, the woke. Good evening to Matt Grant in Cambridge. Hello, Matt Grant. That's very nice that someone comes from Cambridge, a lovely city. Spent lots of time there. Absolutely fabulous place. Wonderful. Good evening from sunny Merthyr Tydfil in Wales. Lady Min would perhaps know Merthyr Tydfil, but she's asleep. So there we are. I don't know. I've never been there, but I send my best wishes to you in Merthyr Tydfil, Wales. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly because these Welsh words are all a bit alien to me, but you're Leslie Davis. So lovely, Leslie. Thank you. Good evening to Jean Coker from Florida. So hello to Florida. We've got Malta, we've got Cornwall, we've got Wales, we've got Cambridge, we've got everywhere. You're all flocking in. So once a few more of you are here, we might start to make some discussions. But if any of you have some questions in the meantime to begin, please ask me some questions. I like to begin with some questions because it gives you a chance to let all the other people in, and then we can have a proper discussion. That seems to be the best way of making this work. Good evening from rainy Italy, says Vassi. Good evening to you. Good evening to Jane S. Yorks. I suppose you're from South Yorkshire. Thank you, Jane. Good evening to, oh, no, you're from Meath Island. Okay. How is the weather? It's not thunder, rain, and lightning here today, so it's much better. What's the proudest interview work person you did, and why did you like it so much? The proudest interview, the best interview I've ever done. I have to say I did enjoy the company of Omar Sharif, an absolutely wonderful gentleman, a kind-hearted, humble man, the most humblest person I've ever met. And also I did enjoy, though I didn't interview him, Bill Deeds, Lord Deeds, a very dignified, civilized gentleman who, he said, my wife lives in Scotland and I live in Kent. That's what kept him young. So, he had an arrangement that would kept him happy. And his grandson is a friend of mine, so like him very much. Sadly, Lord Deeds is now dead, but absolutely wonderful grandson too. Great to see you. Stay strong. You are valued as a person. Believe in yourself. That's very kind of you to say. Cheers to you. I'll say I'll have a famous grouse to that. Do I go skiing? You should visit the Alps. Says Vazzy. I like going to Zermatt, but I prefer to walk. My friends like to do the skiing, and I prefer the après ski, to be honest. That's how I feel about it. I like the Igloo Village in Zermatt. Lovely place. That's my kind of place to go. So Zermatt is my kind of go-to for that kind of thing. And the view of the Matterhorn, absolutely lovely. And the Elsie Bar, absolutely fantastic place to visit. I'd like to go back there again one day, soon. Have I met Timmy Mallet? What was he like? Asks Matt Grant. I think many of you already know that I had an encounter with Timmy Mallet as a child. Timmy Mallet is a very nasty, horrible, vile piece of work. I went to Jodrell Bank in Cheshire, and I was a very naughty child. And, naughty children like me do naughty things. I think this lighting is more appropriate to our program tomorrow about ghosts with the reflection. But the naughty child me um, pulled out some cables from a TV van, and Timmy Mallet spotted me doing this, so he gave me a good telling off and shouted at me. And my grandmother was not very happy because she didn't like Timmy Mallet, so she told Timmy Mallet off. So there we go. Timmy Mallet got a telling off for telling me off. So that's how it works out with Timmy Mallet. He's not a nice man, a horrible person, but I was a very naughty child, and admittedly, my grandmother did not know what I'd actually done. So, it was a 50-50. So there we go. I will be honest. I did deserve the telling off. So there we go. What is my views on the Hunt trial? The Hunt family. I don't know the Hunt trial, so I can't possibly comment. So I don't know. Glad your program is on tonight. Yes. Where would I like to go to on holiday? Well, currently I'm visiting the south of France. It's very nice here. I love to go to Venice. That's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. Absolutely, the Disney World for adults. I love to go to California. Fabulous place, lovely people, many friends. Where else? Gosh, I'd actually loved. Oh, Scotland, of course, Scotland. I love the Scottish Islands. I'd love to spend more time in the Scottish Islands. There you go. Is Lady Min present tonight? Yes, she is. Currently sleeping or pretending to be asleep. Who is worse, Bernie Ecclestone or Cilla Black? I'll give Cilla Black a pass on this one. Bernie Ecclestone is a coffin-dodging, convicted criminal. He's a piece of reprehensible shit. Dreadful, horrible, evil man. And as for Sam Palmer and Jay Rutland and Tamara and all that bag of bilge, throw them all in a blender and chuck it away at high speed. Awful people. Evil, evil, evil people who, one of them tried to strangle me in a restaurant, Sam Palmer, and he has a conviction for that. So I'm prepared to talk about it now because the Metropolitan Police are utterly useless. I've made many complaints about them. So there we go. Right. Oprah Winfrey. What are my thoughts? I think Oprah Winfrey is a revolting woman. She is another Meghan Markle type. She's just creepy. There's something weird about her and that awful woman, Ellen DeGeneres. Oh, God. How could she have ended up in the Cotswolds? What a shame for Britain that we've ended up with that awful Ellen DeGeneres woman. She's even worse. She's scary and scroungy and scringy and oh, she's just gross. There's something weird about her. Jade says she can't stand to look at Oprah. I don't. I just don't like the way Oprah speaks. No, it's not about how people look to me. It's about what they say. And in the case of Oprah Winfrey, she's just one of those busybody. She's like a Gloria Hunniford of America, Inglorious Hunniford, who's another one I cannot stand. Inglorious. She really should put a sock in it, that old trout-faced pest. She's awful. Inglorious Hunniford is one I really don't like. No fan of her. Lots of great people in the world, but not Inglorious. You wanted to destroy her like Ricky Gervais did at the Oscars 2 years ago. I don't know what Ricky Gervais did at the Oscars 2 years ago because I'm really not in touch with modern culture. I tend to listen to stupid programs on Radio 4, and I live in my own little mental world. I'm just myself. We were talking about the Crossbow murder. Yes, absolutely horrible story. But I don't know much about it. It's not one that I've got into, so I can't say anything other than how horrific and, well, let the guy rot. That's all I can say. It's not a case that I have any involvement with, so I'm not going to give commentary on something I don't know about. There's no point because I have no expertise. I don't know any knowledge of it. Haven't followed it. I tend to follow the things that I'm very interested in, like, say, Menendez or Jeremy Bamber or, Omar Benguit or Mark Alexander. They're the cases that I'm very, very, very interested in because I believe there is injustice in those cases. I realize that this is a terrible, terrible story. And it's horrible Lucy Letby. And, everyone goes, what's your view on Lucy Letby? Well, Lucy Letby, to me, is just someone I think is repugnant. Other people seem to want to believe she's innocent, but I'm not getting into that. So I don't want to get involved in that case. It's not a case for me because I've got all my other cases. And I'm very focused on my other cases because I like to help those people where I can. So I don't have time to be looking at the other things. I know that sounds insensitive to other people's victims, but I can't be involved in everything. I'm not the oracle. I can't be everything and I can't be everywhere at all the time. So it's absolutely impossible. But I will say that this man, the crossbow killer, he sounds like a repugnant specimen, and I hope he rots in hell. I think the judge sort of summed it up correctly in that case. If it's all true, I believe it probably is. Well, it definitely sounds to me by the videotapes. I'm not going to go into that because there's no role for me in that story. I cannot be involved in every story. Not every story is about me getting involved when I talk about things, but I will say he sounds absolutely like a piece of toe rag who evil, vile, and sick, and I hope he burns in hell, as the family said. And how dare he not turn up to face the judge? They have to change the law, drag these people into the box, and make them speak. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. There we go. So that's my view on that. Right. Yes. So your next question: did O.J. Simpson do it? I just had a call with the office of Mark Geragos. We will see further about that later in another episode. But, Los Angeles, people who knew people like that, Anne Menendez, we will see. O.J. Simpson, well, I don't know if he did it, but he always said, if the glove don't fit, quit. That was his answer to it. Again, I'm not an expert on O.J. Simpson's case. I know a lot more about the Menendez case and the wonderful Robert Rand and the wonderful Hazel Thornton. They are my two major sources of information in that story. Robert Rand, the main journalist on the trial, and Hazel Thornton, one of the jurors. So I do know an awful lot about Menendez and all that rot. And Gavin Newsom did a fantastic podcast. It's about 4 minutes long. You can watch it on his Twitter. He says, I am considering everything, but I haven't watched those programs. He didn't bother to watch the programs. I think Gavin has done the right thing. The programs are a load of old rot. And it's better he doesn't watch the programs so he actually knows the truth of the story rather than some stupid person who's trying to profiteer on Netflix. This is exactly the same thing that is now occurring with James Stunt. There is a man called Ambrosi, or something, Giamperio Ambrosi. He's making a program called The Royal Stunt. And this little rat who dared to have a pop at me, and I'm going to be mentioned somehow in this film, allegedly. I have been mentioned in the press release, so I do believe I will be included. If they dare use a photograph of me, I'll sue them because they have no right to use my photographs. But Mr. Ambrosi is an absolute scammer who is now trying to flog stories. And in the recent edition of the Times, in the last couple of days, the Telegraph, everywhere else, this man is, trying to sell his stupid film up. Who cares? But the same thing is true with, any of these situations. Once you get into these situations, you get these creeps who try and make some money out of it. And, that's a prime example. And that's my personal thing. And I know that this wazzock, and, I hope you're watching Ambrosi or whatever you're called. You're an absolute prat, with your fake story. Half of it's a load of rubbish. And, your sources are an absolute load of trash. So don't try and have a pop at me because I'll fight back. I warn you. Anyway, there we go. Mandy is near Barnsley. Barnsley's a lovely place. Yorkshire. Is it Barnsley in Gloucestershire? There's several Barnsleys. So I don't know which one you're in. Right. Mandy also is in Derbyshire. Okay, right. Lana says good afternoon. So I don't know where you're in the world because it's 8:30 here. So I don't know where you are. Evening from Newcastle, says Lynn. Right, there we go. Jane lives in a tiny village. It's rural. The cold wind could cut you in half. In South Yorkshire, says Mandy Harrison. There we go. Cassie is watching from South Africa. Well, Lady Min has a shop in Plettenberg Bay. So if you want to go and buy some clothes, Lady Min sells clothes in a little shop in Plettenberg Bay. So if you want to buy some clothes, she does sell ladies' wear. I don't know if you call it that, but whatever you want to call it. There we go. So there we are. Anyway, lots of you here. So I think it's time to start speaking on a particular set of topics. Now, my first topic of choice for tonight is behavior on trains, railways. When you get on the train, what should be the etiquette? How should one behave? So Jeremy Clarkson put up a video today of people, a man behind him on the mobile phone shouting on a railway train, in a carriage of a train. And he wasn't very happy by the noise that this rat bag was making. Absolutely awful. Jane from South Yorkshire says, "Don't forget and hit the like button." That's very kind of you, Jane. Anyway, we don't like people shouting into mobile phones on trains, in my view. I have a journalist friend, Alexis, who travels daily into London on, a Chilterns train from Oxfordshire. She cannot stand the people who put the bags on the seats. The bags on the seats really irritate her because there's never enough seats for the humans. That is the problem to her, especially when she's returning home. And she takes photographs of those kind of situations. And my friend Peter Blexley of Talk TV, who you all know, Mr. Blexley takes pictures and puts them on his Twitter of the grot bags who put their feet on the seat, their dirty cloven hooves, their dirty, filthy shoes. Absolutely appalling. Jane from South York says, "Feet off the seats, no music on phones, that's loud enough to hear." Diane says, "I've been raised that there's never enough excuse for bad behavior anyway in public." Mr. Mann says, "Some people have zero consideration for others." There we go. I think it is an outrage to eat smelly food on trains too. If you bring along your stinking box of food, I've had enough journeys on trains where the ghastly person sitting next to me decides to bring out a little box of their picnic. Bring a bag of mini cheddars. Absolutely no problem, because that doesn't offend anyone. Like me, take a traveling drink. I take what's called a traveling drink. I fill a Peroni bottle with gin and tonic. Nobody knows what's in it. It looks like water. So I absolutely have a wonderful thing. You don't like body odor. Nobody wants somebody else's body odor. You're quite correct there, Lee Kicker. Yes, quite correct. Loud people. That's another problem on public transport. Screaming at children. I don't like that. My friend Nicky Haslam, he has a t-shirt, a tea towel he sells in Selfridges at Christmas. Things that he considers common, but we could have a thing what we consider common on trains. But Jeremy Clarkson was quite right today to highlight this revolting little piece of scum who was on his mobile phone at full volume. Absolutely awful. The good thing to travel with is, as what I said, the travel drink. Always travel with a travel drink. You could have white wine or you could have a gin and tonic, but some people prefer water, but I don't think so. If I'm going to sit on a train for 2 hours, I need a gin and tonic to tolerate whatever inevitable ghastly person is going to turn up and be in my orbit. So I do like that. There we go. Right. Okay. You don't like what else? Feet on the seats. It's rude. Yes, I agree. There we are. So, any more thoughts on behavior on trains? Michael Portillo would certainly have a view. Did Jeremy Clarkson punch him as he's known for throwing his toys out of the pram? No, Jeremy Clarkson did not punch anybody. Trevor. He just filmed it and highlighted how awful it was. Jeremy Clarkson was most civilized. I think Jeremy Clarkson's a wonderful gentleman, actually. So there we go. I disagree with you on that. Hen parties and stag parties on trains. Oh dear, yes. Jane from South Yorks, you are quite right there. What an awful, awful, terrible thing to have to put up with. Okay, I'll add another. Royal Ascot. I once went there on the train. That was a very bad idea. Never again. The people are drunk at 8 in the morning. God knows where they start the day before they even get on the train at 8 a.m. But they're completely smashed at 8 a.m. That's very bad. I didn't enjoy train journeys with the Royal Ascot crew. And when they go back, well, the Vomit Comet is probably the best description for that conveyance means. So no, I won't be going ever again on a train to Royal Ascot. No. The only way to get there, really, the car journey is awful. If you've got it, take the chopper. So that's the only way you could actually get there. But I personally don't bother. I prefer Cheltenham, and everyone's living it up at Cheltenham this week. But I can't believe the amount of snow. It's amazing. Here I am in France, where the sun is finally out, but we didn't even, I couldn't believe it when I saw the pictures of Cheltenham in the snow. So anyway, there we go. So that's behavior on trains dealt with. The next topic, before we get to the main topic, which is woke. I don't like the woke, as you know. I'm the most anti-woke person on the planet, probably other than Peter Bexley. There we go. Is a woman called Tulip Siddiqui, Labour MP. What do you think of Tulip Siddiqui? Let's have a few questions from you about Tulip Siddiqui before I decide to talk about dear old Tulip. Any questions about Tulip? No. She's not a bulb. She's definitely not the brightest bulb in the box, that's for sure. Anyway. There we go. None of you have any views on Tulip Siddiqui. So Tulip Siddiqui was named last night as one of Westminster's 100 most influential women by the House magazine. Shocking. Former key member of Labour's shadow treasury team, worked for almost 3 years to convince the business and financial sectors that her party could be trusted with the nation's finances. Her family are corrupt and absolutely disgraceful in Bangladesh. Oh. The Bangladesh Anti-Corruption Commission got a travel ban on the ousted dictator relative of hers, Sheikh Hasina, a seizure order on 124 bank accounts, seizure of Tulip's actual apartments in East Harmony Building, somewhere else in Bangladesh. I say, lock her up. You can see in my words, lock her up.
No way.
I think Tulip should be locked up. Tulip is a terrible woman. I'm sorry, we've got Lady Min starting to shout in the background, which is not required. She doesn't need to shout. That's not fair. It's nice that she's here, but she mustn't shout. So we will keep it calm and simple today. But Tulip Siddiqui of the Labour Party is an absolute disgrace. What do you think of Tulip? Come on, any comments on Tulip? They should not be able to send money outside of the UK. Well, they're to do with Bangladesh, so Thracian grapes, of course, they have a right to do things in Bangladesh. So, but they do not have a right to have criminality going on, do they? So, we do not like Tulip Sadiq. And well done to Guido Fawkes for calling all this out. So I support Guido Fawkes on this occasion. Yes, good evening to MWEV. Thank you for coming in. Mr. Lee Kicker thinks that Tulip is arrogant. Any more views on Tulip Sadiq? No, no one seems interested in Tulip Sadiq, which I think is actually shocking because this woman is a scoundrel. She is a scumbag and a toe rag, and she is a grifter and a grabber. And they are a nasty little family who should be in prison. Locked a lot of them up. Dreadful, dreadful people. How long do you think it will be before the UK rejoins the European Union? I don't think that will probably happen in a very long time because it's just not going to happen under Keir Starmer. But I think it's a great shame that we ever left. That is how I feel about it. So it doesn't suit me to be in this situation, but unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get a resolution. What is my principal objection to Eccleston? I think Bernie Eccleston has been extremely obnoxious to me personally with the way he's allowed his disgusting filth daughters to behave to me and their horrible husbands. And simply because I supported a former husband of one of them. And Bernie Eccleston is a convicted criminal fraudster who stole 400 million from the British taxpayer, and it took him 20 years to pay it back. And now he is a convicted criminal fraudster with a 17-month suspended jail sentence. He deserves every bloody minute of that sentence. If he'd been a little old lady who'd not paid for a TV license, he'd be in jail. He didn't even get a slap on the wrists. The little rat got away with it because he cried like a little baby that he is. He's a little diminutive dwarf who coffin-dodging creep who, he claimed he couldn't go to prison because he'd just become a father, age 90. For God's sake, that child. I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to commit libel, but you can work it out. He claimed he couldn't go to prison because he wasn't well, all the rest of it. He had every excuse in the bloody damn book. Bernie Eccleston is a piece of filth and he's a piece of scum, and I'm not going to shut up about him. He is revolting. He's a horrible, horrible, evil man. And as for Tamara Eccleston, she's the modern day Bet Lynch and on that awful program, Loose Women, it rather suits her because she is rather revolting. She belongs there, and what she did to that poor sloth. How dare you abuse a sloth? A sloth is not a social animal. And she took an animal from the rainforest and shoved it in her house in bloody Kensington. The woman's mental. She needs sectioning. She's awful. And as for, bog-eyed boy husband, he's a right odyssey. And him and his stupid, crappy art gallery. Do have a look at the history of the art gallery. Plenty of interest there as well. So Eccleston's, no. Don't you get me going. And if you're all here to provoke me about Eccleston, anyone, really, you're not going to get, it's not going to end well, because I know an awful lot. I know too much about the Ecclestons, and they don't like the fact that I know. And I'm not going to reveal what I know until I'm ready. So, Ecclestons, stop stirring the pot if you want anything to go away. Bog off, Ecclestons. I don't like the Ecclestons. Horrible, horrible, wastrel people. Vile, horrible, sick in the head people. Leave me alone, Ecclestons. Thank you. I do have a conviction against Sam Palmer, and he doesn't want that talked about. And the Daily Mail, he managed to stop them talking about it. But I'm not going to shut up. I'm not going to belt up, and I'm not going to wrap up. I will say what is the truth. Sam Palmer, you're a piece of junk. Bog off. Leave me alone. I don't need to hear from you again. You're a creep. You're an absolute loser. And look where you came from, a junkyard. Bog off. Anyway, there we go. Jane from South Yorkshire says Bernie should be imprisoned. Well, I agree. People like him, though, they do deals, so they get away with it. You want to send me an Eccles cake? I don't want an Eccles cake to do with the Ecclestons. No, thank you. An Eccles cake, no thanks. An Eccles cake is like a fly pie, I called it. I never liked those things. They were horrible. As a child, I had those. Awful. Cheryl Betts says the animal cruelty she gave was send her into the jungle. Yes, what she did to the sloth was absolutely wicked. How could you do that to a beautiful creature? Dragging a creature that lives in a rainforest into a house in Kensington and allowing your children to put their dirty old paws all over it. Sloths do not like to be touched. It was absolutely appalling, and she filmed it and put it on Instagram. This woman is vile. She's a monster. Shame on her. The modern day Bet Lynch meets Peggy Mitchell from EastEnders. That's what she looks like. And, her breastfeeding and going on loose women. Has she got nothing better to do with her life? She should bog off. Absolutely disgusting. I didn't know a highway is being built through the Amazon rainforest. I was shocked when I seen the news says NVEV. I don't know what that's got to do with it, but leave the sloths alone. That's what I say. Don't pick on the sloth, precisely. I agree with that comment. Right, so we'll move on to another topic before I never expected we'd get stuck with the bloody Ecclestons yet again. The Ecclestons like to rear their ugly head. Wherever I am, I can't escape the horrible family. The vile, wicked Slavica, the vile, wicked Bernie, dirty Bernie, the coffin-dodging creep, the horrible, putrid Petra, the disgusting Ponce Sam Palmer, and the absolutely awful, tepid Tamara, the titty feeder. So there we go. Oh no, and then I've forgotten Jay Rutland. But he's just someone who got struck off from the city. Disgrace. Look up his record. You can see the record from the court when he was convicted. So he's a lovely gentleman. Bog-eyed weirdo. So there we go. Simon Coates says, I didn't know you could get sloths from Amazon. I don't know if you got them from Amazon. No. She got the sloths from some kind of um, place that brought it for a party. She had sloths brought into her house in Kensington. These poor creatures that would have been left in the rainforest and should be left alone. And she allowed her children to put their dirty, filthy hands all over these poor creatures that are solitary creatures. That is sick. It's morally wrong. I campaigned against Merrilies van der Meer, the woman whose husband paid for her to shoot a giraffe for Valentine's Day. And I got her banned from YouTube because she used the wrong kind of music. So I got her on breach of copyright. But honestly, a woman who shot a giraffe, and then we've got Tamara who allows her children to put their filthy little hands all over a creature that lives normally by itself in the trees and does not want to interact with anything. It doesn't want to be in an air-conditioned house in the middle of Kensington. It belongs in the bloody rainforest. Leave it alone, Tamara. Tepid Tamara, you're a twerp. You're an absolute twit. You're a twat. You're absolutely sick in the head. That poor animal would have felt very endangered and in trouble because of what you did to it. Abusing an animal like that, just so your stupid little brat can go, oh, I touched a sloth. Leave the poor sloth alone. This is absolutely sick. You agree, Tina? Yes, disgusting. There should be a law banning, yes. People are allowed to own these animals if there's certain circumstances to do with zookeeping. So how the hell did it end up in Tamara Eccleston's fucking house? Tamara Eccleston is a disgrace. What she did to that sloth, and then she videoed it. Because Tamara Eccleston, her life is so vacuous and boring. She's the daughter of a very rich man. She thinks that she adds to society by making a video of her children basically abusing a poor animal. It's disgusting. They were all over it. That animal is a solitary creature that lives in the trees. It doesn't like interaction. I've read a lot about the sloth. Sloths should be left alone. Shame on her. And then she tries to defend it. Oh, everybody picks on me. Well, don't go around making stupid videos, you stupid mad woman. You're absolutely barking. You're absolutely up your own fucking tree. What you did to that poor animal upset it. Probably died after what you did to it because it didn't want that. Those animals do not want to be in an air-conditioned house in the middle of Kensington, for a start. It lives in the forest. Leave it alone. And you just think you can have a donkey round one day and you can have a sloth the next and you can go on a bang on about breastfeeding. Bog off, you silly old bag. You should put a sock in it, woman. And as for your ghastly little brother-in-law, Sam Palmer, tell him to stop harassing me. I'm bored of him. He's absolutely tedious. I'm not going to shut up about these people because they make me violently angry. But it's the sloth. Poor sloth. Leave the sloth alone. I am a campaigner for animals. I've been a campaigner for animals for many, many years. Elephants, giraffes. I put a stop to the woman who was going around shooting goats in Scotland. I've gone after so many, but Tamara Eccleston putting a sloth into her Kensington billionaires row mansion. What is wrong with her? For God's sake, you bloody woman. Can't you find yourself something better? Find yourself a plastic cow, because that's what you are. It's all you look like, you disgusting wench. What you did to that poor animal is horrible. It's wicked. It's vile. And Tina De Silva says 100%. Yes, I agree with you. You all say, I love all animals. Yes. You're still laughing. The sloths look like they're wearing a wig like her father. The sloths do this poor sloth does look a bit like her father's wig. Yes. Or his, his, whatever it is he's got on his head. But it's not fair to that animal. You say it's good that I'm a campaigner. Yes, I do campaign. Marilise van der Meer, the woman who shot the giraffe, I put a stop to her. I got her banned from YouTube. She was very, very, very angry. I'm after this woman, Larissa Switlick. I had a campaign on change.org. I got 50,000 signatures for my campaign, and I got her banned from YouTube. So yeah, I had her shut down. The Merrily, the woman whose husband paid for a Valentine's gift to shoot a giraffe and film it and use the music of a man called Johnny Clegg, Scatterlings of Africa. That wasn't a very nice thing that woman did, and I put a stop to her. I think we need a campaign to stop Tamara Eccleston and her effing video. So I'm going to start one actually tomorrow. I think that's on my agenda. I'm going to start a campaign to have her bloody picture of the torturing of the sloth. I want that taken down as well. I want Tamara Eccleston banned from Instagram for what she's done to that poor creature. You cannot go around abusing beautiful creatures and get away with it. And Tamara Eccleston thinks it's a bit of fun to give her, a little old whatever her name is. Fifi, I think her name is. Fifi wanted to have a sloth. Seriously? Give Fifi a fucking teddy bear. Don't abuse a beautiful creature from the rainforest. You horrible, horrible, sick-in-the-head woman, Tamara Eccleston. You're an absolute tepid piece of toe rag. I'm disgusted that this has not been taken down. I know a few people have criticized you in the Mirror and other places, but putting a sloth in your mansion for a child's birthday party? I've never heard of anything so weird. Most people at a birthday party buy a cake. They don't bring a sloth from the rainforest. Leave it alone. What you did to this poor animal is a sick and horrible thing. Your children put their hands all over this poor thing. They are solitary creatures that do not want they don't want interaction. So shame on her. I'm very angry. And Keely says, good on me for doing this. Yes, start a campaign. We will support the campaign. Okay, tomorrow I will start a petition against Tamara Eccleston and the sloth treatment. I want Tamara Eccleston to say sorry for what she's done to the sloth. I want an apology for the sloth, because the poor creature's probably dead anyway because of what she's done to it. So I will join any campaign, says Jane. I bet it was terrified, says Tina. The sloth was probably traumatized, says Jane. Yes, you were all right. Every one of you is bang on the nail. Lady men, what do you think of what Tamara Eccleston did to the sloth?
Sorry.
The sloth.
What?
What do you think of what Tamara Eccleston did to the sloth? The creature she took from the rainforest and put in her house. She doesn't understand, so forget it. Right, we're all cut from the same sloth. Okay, we'll let her go back to sleep. She's not contributing. I tried to get her to join in, but there we go. But no, I will start a campaign against her tomorrow. I want an apology for the sloth. That is very important. Anyway, we'll move on to the main topic of the night. Woke. Now, I don't know how woke you all are, but I'm not woke. Before I do, I'm just going to get myself a top up. But there we go.
What are you doing?
I'll take this because you're not drinking it.
Oh,
Right. Anyway, here we go. Back again. So, I read a story today that really was very upsetting. Though I'm not a great person of interest in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but there's a new version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs coming out. So, the original was in 1937, and it was called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It was based upon the Brothers Grimm, their book. Yes, right. But before I start, yes, Cheryl Betts, I agree with you. Tamara Eccleston, you need to apologize. You're an evil woman. Let's get the campaign kick ass. Right. So tomorrow I will start a petition against Tamara Eccleston demanding she apologize. So I will be announcing the petition here. I will announce it live. The lamp is at an odd angle. Yes, right. Okay. You don't like the lamp. There we are. Right. Anyway, returning to the topic of woke and Snow White, there is a new version of Snow White coming out, and there has been a bit of a backlash because this $270 million remake is very woke. It features a woman called Rachel Zegler. Have you ever heard of Rachel Zegler? Because I certainly hadn't. She plays Snow White. And a woman called Gal Gadot. She's the evil queen. Anyway, it's meant to be a glittering Hollywood soiree to launch it. But because there's been such a backlash, it's being the launch has been relocated to a remote castle in Spain. There will be no media present. The medieval castle on a remote crag in Segovia Old City. It was the original castle in the 1937 original film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but it's not really Hollywood, is it? Anyway, it's directed by Mark Webb, written by Erin Cressida Wilson. Again, a bunch of nobodies I've never heard of. But the Hispanic Zegler is a strange woman. She doesn't like AI. She's dystopian, obsessed with Palestinians. She also, the most sensible thing she's ever said is, I don't think any celebrity, which is a horrible word, I hate the word celebrity, is making a political statement has any answers. That's probably the most successful thing she said. But she's very upset, with dwarves. She doesn't want dwarves in her film. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs has been renamed Snow White. And I personally think this load of woke old load of wazzockery is a load of rubbish. And I'll come to a dwarf who has an alternative view, who is an actor himself, shortly. But this woman has managed to persuade the Restricted Growth Association to say dwarves should not be treated like children. Disney said, we consulted with members of the dwarfism community, hence why we don't have dwarves in the film. Snow White will instead be befriended by magical forest dwelling creatures. Why do we have to rewrite every element of bloody history? Absolutely laughable. You can't use this word, you can't use that word, you can't use the other word. Right, so where's my next page? The dwarf Peter Dinklage says it's a fucking backwards story. Other dwarf actors, this including Jeff Brooks, responded he was stopping them getting jobs. Yes. Look, there's no need to be rude about anybody in life. Be polite about everybody unless you're Tamara Eccleston. Let's be rude about Tamara Eccleston because she's a trash bag who abuses sloths. So I don't like her. She's a piece of rubbish. She's a piece of junk. Let's be rude about, say, Katie Price because she's horrible. She's the skank. But no, not correct. Don't pick on a dwarf. There's no need to be rude about dwarves. But honestly, don't rewrite history. It's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. You're not allowed to call Agatha Christie's the 10 Little Niggers. Well, that was the name of the book. So there we go. Now it's called And Then There Went On. So, people change that, okay, but I'm not a racist. I'm not into abuse of anybody. I have friends who are black, white, brown, purple, whatever you want to be. Let them be whatever you want to be. But for goodness sakes, it's Snow White and the Seven Little Dwarfs. Sorry. The Seven Little Dwarfs had names. Why are we taking their names away? That is discrimination. What do you think the names of the Seven Little Dwarfs were? Well, we had the dwarves. Right, I don't know why I've written it down. I've written them all down. Somewhere I've got it. Somewhere on my piece of paper. There was Doc. There was Grumpy. There was Happy. There was Sleepy. There was Bashful. There was Sneezy, and there was Dopey. Well, why are we taking their names away? They have the right to exist. They were part of the story. So don't be mean to Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey. Don't pick on them. Shame on you. Shame on all of them who are picking on them. You think Katie Price is a troubled soul? Well, that's the understatement of the year. There we go. Her in a pink Range Rover. She should ram it up her jumper. Which one would I be? I don't know. I'm not into Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I never read such a thing. I think it was more my sister's kind of thing. I liked Swallows and Amazons and things like that, and Reginald Crompton, all that kind of stuff. So I was a different kind of reader at that age. Never really into that kind of nonsense for me. But I do think that this is a ridiculous story. And this stupid little woman, Zegler, she's a pain in the ass. She's an absolute pest. So Miss Zegler has come out with a number of statements. She says it was sexist to have Snow White, but she wanted to play Snow White. She was happy to take the money. Oh, yeah, she was happy to put the money in her bloody pocket, was old Zegler. Never heard of this bloody pest before. She said women should be in roles of power. She said the original 1937 version was weird. She said, "We will do what we want." It's Hollywood Baby of her new version. She said, "I was scared of the original version. I watched once and never picked it up again. I'm being so serious." The DailyMail.com said she's a loose cannon. The DailyMail.com, for once, is completely 100% right. They said haters will boycott the film. I agree with them there. I hope they do. I think this film sounds like a load of rabid, bragged bag rubbish. No thanks. She's a radical left winger. And as for this other dwarf, Peter Dinklage, who got so cross, another dwarf has responded, actor Jason Weeman Acuna. He said, "You're replacing jobs that people could have as little people. It's for dwarves. Why are you hiring Snow White and the seven average people?" So that's my view on that load of rubbish. Absolute nonsense. Well said to him. He is the man who spoke sense. So, yes, go woke, go broke. And it gets worse. So, today, Hardwick Hall in Derbyshire. Hardwick Hall, more glass than wall. A lovely place that I have visited on a number of occasions. It's an amazing house that was built to show off someone's wealth because it has more windows than it has stone, because they wanted to show that they could afford to pay for glass. The owners decided to make some kind of tapestry or something, and people were allowed to write on the names of inspirational women. So obviously there are lots of inspirational women in the world. I wasn't sure about half the inspirational women they put on, Ruth Gainsbourg and Mother Teresa, and I'm not a great fan of Mother Teresa. And Lady Min will, if she were awake, would like me to say a lot more about Mother Teresa, but she's fallen asleep. But I won't get on to Mother Teresa today. But one of them dared to put J.K. Rowling. Well, the staff felt unsafe. Isn't that nice? Oh, that a woman who is one of the most successful writers on the planet ever makes them feel unsafe because they sewed the name of her into a little bit of fabric. Oh, please, grow up, you pathetic people. They did not like it. And somebody on Twitter rightly wrote back, would they equally have felt unsafe if someone had put down Rose West, Lucy Letby, or Eva Brown? Where is the line drawn? This is utterly pathetic. I totally agree. So that is my view on these drip people. Absolutely shocking. Kathy loves the books of Arthur Ransom. Well, of course, I have a family connection with Arthur Ransom, an absolutely wonderful man. So there we go. Claire Louise loves J.K. Rowling. I think J.K. Rowling deserves a salute. It's enough is enough. Anyway, right. So we're through all of that. We're at 1 hour exactly and 4 minutes. So If you have a couple more questions, please ask me a couple more questions now. Otherwise, we will soon start a quiz. So you're welcome to have a go, and that will be that. So, what is wrong with Mother Teresa? She wasn't a very kind woman. She liked grabbing the money. She was a great friend of Robert Maxwell. Says a lot. Do I miss Broadstairs? Yes, I miss the lovely people of Broadstairs very much. Villa Black and Anthea Turner. I don't know what a Villa Black and Anthea Turner means, but there we go. Right. So, have we any more questions? Any more questions coming in or not? Any more questions? Did I watch Prime Minister's Questions Time today? It was awful. Amanda, I missed Prime Minister's Questions Times today because I don't have my VPN, so I can't watch anything British television wise. Brenda asks, do I still haunt the Magnet? Well, obviously not, because I don't live in Broadstairs, so no, I don't go there. But I love all the people at the Magnet, and it's a wonderful place. Sam, Will, and Nikki, and all the customers. So there we go. Do I like Alfred Hitchcock movies? Asks Cheryl. Yes, I agree. Yeah, lovely. Yes, I enjoy those, but not a regular thing. Not something I'd want to watch again and again, but nice to watch now and again. Do I think there is two-tier justice? I'd call it three-tier care because there's another level in between. So three-tier care, horrible person. Any story on Kitty getting stuck in an elm tree? I don't think anything will be done about good old Kitty until he's dead. Can you speak some French to us? No, I don't speak French. Parlez-vous anglais? That's about as far as I get. My French teacher, Mr. Gorse, who occasionally pops in here, he'll have some views on my terrible French. No, I'm not good at French, but most people here speak English anyway. Right. What's going on with Far Age? He's just another nutter. We'll see what happens. He's all right, old plonker. I'd say he's the Del Boy of politics. There we go. Right, next question. I don't know. There's no questions. So there we go. Right, we're going to start this quiz. Is there anyone willing to help me with my quiz? Otherwise, I have to take notes, which makes it very much more difficult to do this quiz. So are you ready to do this quiz? Simon Coates will keep the tally. Right. Thank you, Simon Coates. Right. Your first question. What are the names of the two men convicted for the the 1995 Essex boys' murders in 1998? What are their names? You can't have a woke quiz, no. The two men's names, it's not Bulgers. Mr. Man can have it with Holmes and Steele, even though he didn't spell Steele correctly. Mr. Man gets a point. So Mr. Man gets the point. Mr. Man, you have a point. 1 point. So, yes, Justice Secretary Shabana Mahmood is trying to stop the release of Steele. via a reconsideration application. Of course, I know some of these characters via people that they were associated with, but Holmes was released in 2021. So there we go. I'm sick of hearing about all the boring films about them. Absolutely awful. Right, Ecstasy and High. Well, that could have been the names of the actual people in the Range Rover. So the Range Rover murders, yes. That is what it was also known as. Hello to Katrina. Right, which political party, question number 2, did Australian journalist Amanda Platel work for between 1999 and 2001? She did not work for Labour, no. She did not work for Anthea Turner. Lois Petzold gets the point. It was the Conservative Party. She worked for William Hague, yes. So Lois gets 1 point. Well done, Lois. A new entrant. Right. Which newspaper has actor Noel Clarke, who I had lunch with only last year at PJ's in Chelsea, sued in March 2025 for libel? Which newspaper has actor Noel Clarke sued this very month for libel? It wasn't The Sun, no. It wasn't the Mail. It wasn't He Is a Horrid Man. That's not a newspaper. Miss Marple gets it with The Guardian, so Miss Marple gets the point. Well done, Miss Marple. Right. What sport other than football is Sir Alex Ferguson associated with? It is not rugby, it's not cricket, it's not golf, it's not Anthea Turner. It's not rugby, golf. Enigma can have it with racing, though you should have said horse racing, but I will allow racing on this occasion. So Enigma gets the point. Of course, Sir Alex Ferguson is the owner of many racehorses. So there we go. Who wrote and sang the Need the Sun to Break and Hold Back the River? He's the son of a wine merchant. He was inspired by Eric Clapton. He's from Wickham, Hertfordshire. Who wrote that? It was not Adele, it wasn't Tina, and it wasn't Bernie Eccleston. It was not the Beatles, no. It wasn't Jack Johnston, Tom Jones, James Morrison. No, you're not very good at music, you lot. It wasn't Rod Stewart. It wasn't Donovan, whoever he is. It wasn't Cliff Richard. It wasn't the boy with the hat and the guitar. It wasn't Traffic. It wasn't Paolo. It wasn't... Well, Joyce Grove gets close with Jamie Bay. I'll allow her the point. It was James Bay. But I'll allow her to have it because I know most of you can't type very well, so I'll allow you the point on this one occasion. Who writes the column for called The Turf for The Spectator? Who is the writer of the column called The Turf? Who writes that particular column? Not Keir Starmer, not Cliff Richard, not Telegraph, not Owen Jones. It's a horse racing column. It's nothing to do with politics. So who writes it's nothing to do with Boris Johnson, no. Who writes the column The Turf for The Spectator? It's not Richard Brough, whoever he is, Linda Joe, but thanks for trying. Nope. It's not Woody Carson and it's not Alex Ferguson. It's not John. It's not horse racing. No, who writes it? It's not Bernie Eccleston. It's not Shergar. No. Okay, none of you get a point. We'll cancel the thing because it's not Red Smith either. Your answers are all ridiculous. It's not Gary Barlow, Harry Red M.N. That's a very strange way of spelling a name. Anyway, none of you know. The answer is Robin Oakley. So none of you get a point. 0 points. 0. Right. We'll give you 0 for that one. Right. What is the name of the pub? Continuing the theme from yesterday, and tomorrow you're going to get another pub. What is the name of the pub in the soap opera EastEnders? What is the name of the pub in EastEnders? Lois gets a second point, which takes Lois into the lead. It's the Queen Vic. Yes, well done to Lois. Oh no, you called it the Old Vic, but no. Right. Well, anyway, right. We move on. Who now owns Benjamin Disraeli's house, Hughenden? Who is the owner of Hughenden, the former home of Benjamin Disraeli? It's not James Blunt, and it's not Bernie Eccleston, and it's not Boris Johnson. Who owns Disraeli's house? Miss Marple wins a point, which takes her into joint first with the National Trust. Okay, this is one that you probably won't get because none of you will probably get this. Which author disliked Yorkshiremen so much that he suggested that the Yorkshire Ripper, Peter Sutcliffe, should just be referred to as the Yorkshire? He didn't like people from Yorkshire, so he had a real go at them. It wasn't Holly Willoughby. She's not an author. It wasn't Arthur Miller, and it wasn't Sebastian Faulks. Which author? It wasn't the devil. It wasn't Bernie Grant. It wasn't John Major. What would John Major have to do with that? It wasn't George Orwell. A famous author. It wasn't Roald Dahl. Though it could have been something from the Tales of the Unexpected, yes. It wasn't Lord Archer. He's not that rude. Harry Redknapp, I don't think he's much of any consequence. It wasn't Ian Fleming, Tolkien, George Bernard Shaw. It wasn't Dirty Den. Right. Well, none of you are very good at that, so you're going to get a pass again. You're absolutely useless. It was Auberon War. For goodness sakes. You're absolutely useless at serious questions, you lot. Try harder. Come on. Wake up. Man up and smell the coffee when it comes to questions. If you want to do my quiz, you've got to try harder. Right. I'm going to give you an easy question now. If you can't answer this, you're worse than the village idiot. You're worse than the village fool. Anne Robinson and I would have a meat market with you lot. Right. What does Tom Parker Bowles write and broadcast about? It's a very easy question. If you can't answer this, you're an absolute bunch of fools. Miss Marple wins a point, which takes Miss Marple into the lead with 3 points. Food. Now, this concerns my great uncle, who was a hero. My great uncle was part of this disaster, and he rescued a number of people. So, great uncle Peter Howard has to be remembered. In which year was the Munich air disaster involving the Busby Babes? What year? It was not 1988. It was not 1959. It was not 1950. It was not 1977. It wasn't 1953. It was not 1966. It was not 1961, 63. It wasn't 1003. It wasn't 53. It wasn't 68. No, you were all wrong. Lots of wrong answers. The Thracian grapes gets the point. It is 1958. So my great uncle was in that plane and went back into the plane and he saved people's lives. So he was from the Daily Express at the time. So there you go, Peter Howard. He was in that plane and he got thrown out into the snow and he went back in and he saved people's lives. So, yeah, that was a personal question. So glad that you got the answer right. Thracian grapes. Thank you. Thank you. Because everybody else got it, was wildly miles apart. Anyway, never mind. There we go. And anyone keep on telling me that someone else gets it first? No, you don't get it first if I don't declare it first. I see what I see on my screen. So I am the one who declares the rules here. So no, I'm not having other people telling me who said it first on their screen. I have a thing here and I'm in charge of, I have to read it out. So there we go. Right. In which year did Elon Musk rebrand Twitter to X? In which year? It wasn't 2025. Miss Marple gets a 4th point, which Miss Marple is well in the lead now. It was 2023. Who was the author of The Tale of Peter Rabbit? Who wrote The Tale of Peter Rabbit? Which author? We need the full name, but well, I'll allow Lois to have it. So you get a 3rd point. It is Beatrix Potter. But in future, I would prefer that you gave the full name. I don't want. It makes it easier against all this arguing. It has to be the full name. Right. So if we have another question of this type in this quiz, if you don't give the full name, you don't get the point, okay? But on this occasion, I allow Lois to have the point. Right. What is the alternative name of the principal station in Edinburgh? What is its name, the alternative name of Edinburgh Railway Station? What is the alternative name? Tina De Silva wins immediately with a Waverley. Tina De Silva. Right. Tina De Silva gets the point. With a Waverley. Yes, it's the Waverley Station. Named after the Waverley novels of Sir Walter Scott. There you go. There's your interesting fact for the evening about that particular thing. Okay. Which hotel in London's Mayfair district was said to be the inspiration for Bertram's Hotel by Agatha Christie? Which hotel? It wasn't the Ritz, it wasn't the Savoy, it wasn't the Mayfair, it wasn't the Hilton, it wasn't Claridge's, it wasn't the Ritz, it wasn't the Travelodge, it wasn't the Dorchester. No, you're all miles up. Think of a nice little hotel. It wasn't the Duke's Hotel. Oh, I love Duke's Hotel. But no. Oh, come on. You people must be a little brighter than this. St. Pancras. What's that got to do with bloody Mayfair? The Gore. That's not even anywhere near. It wasn't the Park Lane. It wasn't the Holiday Inn. The Windsor. The Dorchester. I've never. It wasn't Fleming's. It wasn't the Ibis. Anyway, you've all failed. So, right. You've all failed. So I'll have to just forget your point on that one. Of course, the hotel was the Rocco Forte Hotel, owned Brown's Hotel, which is where Rudyard Kipling spent his wedding night in 1892. Mark Twain stayed there, A.A. Milne, etc., etc., etc. I don't need to go on. Right, next question. Since you all failed on that one, you failed on 3 of my questions thus far tonight. Very disappointing. I'm very, very shocked and appalled. Anyway, which Canadian journalist served as editor of Vanity Fair magazine between 1992 and 2017 and allegedly chose not to bother publishing allegations about Jeffrey Epstein, according to fellow journalist Vicky Ward? It was not Mark Carney. No, he's not a journalist. No. It wasn't Ryan Reynolds. It wasn't Harold Wilson. It wasn't Brian Adams. It wasn't Tina Brown. It wasn't Beatrix Potter or David Akin. No. It wasn't Cilla Black. It wasn't Piers Morgan. Good God. You do choose some strange options, some of you. The winner of the point, of course, who now has 2 points, is Flashing Grapes. The answer is Graydon Carter. Okay. In which year was the British gambling firm Ladbrokes founded? In which year? It was merged with Coral in 2016, founded as a commission agent for horses trained at a place in Warwickshire. None of your answers are correct. Not one of you are correct. I'm not going to read them all out because there's so many. It was not 1066. Oh dear. You're not very good at this kind of thing, are you? I do find some obscure questions, I suppose. Anyway, no, you've all failed. The answer was 1886. So I reject all of your answers. There we go. You're not going to probably like my next question on this same basis. Who wrote the Inspector Morse novels? Who was the writer of Inspector Morse? It wasn't Bernie Eccleston. It wasn't Mr. Kipling or Inspector. Linda Joe, you're a new entrant. You get a point. Yes, of course, the answer was Colin Dexter. Which banker and chancellor of the University of Bristol did Colin Dexter name Inspector Morse after? What was the person he named him after? It wasn't Lawrence Fox, no. What was the name of this person? He was the chairman of Lloyd's Bank also. It wasn't Lewis, and it wasn't Ed Balls, and it wasn't Mr. Moneypacker. It wasn't Samuel. I can accept Jeremy from Sandy D. It was Sir Jeremy Morse. Right, Sandy gets the point. Well done to Sandy. And the final question, which concerns my dear old friend, who's long sadly died, who played Tinker Dill in the BBC series Lovejoy? Who played Tinker Dill? What was the actor's name who played Tina De Silva? Gets the point. Well done, Tina. With 1 point for Tina. Of course, it was Dudley Sutton. So Dudley died in September 2018. A great friend of mine, a lovely man to spend time with at the Chelsea Arts Club. He was expelled from the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. He played the title role in Joe Orton's original Entertaining Mr. Sloane. Of course, the man who wrote The Entertaining Mr. Sloane, Kenneth Halliwell, was killed by 9 blows to the head. Joe Orton was killed by 9 blows to the head by Kenneth Halliwell, and then he killed himself with an overdose. So, curious story that, hey. But there we go. So, I don't know who our winner is, but I have Miss Marple as the winner in my book, and Simon Coates has Miss Marple on 4 points. So thank you ever so much to all of you for your wonderful participation. You've been fantastic. You've been wonderful. And our second place person tonight is Lois Petzol. So thank you, Lois. You got 3 points. And Frashy Grapes or something, whatever you called, you got 2 points. Everybody else got 1 point, and you failed to answer 4 of my 20 questions. So not too bad. I will salute you all, and I'll say thank you very much. So anyway, any more questions? Time for some more questions. Any questions? Right. 7 people got 1 point. Yes, lots of people got 1 point. Not too bad, but we didn't get 20 out of 20. You got 4 failed answers. So you'll have to try harder tomorrow. I've already prepared tomorrow's quiz. So you'll have to look forward to talking about another pub. Because yesterday I did the pub of Coronation Street. Today I did EastEnders, and tomorrow I'll do Emmerdale's. So there you go. Pubs of soap operas. That's the easy peasy question for all of you. I won't be able to do it again because I'll have to think of another set of options, won't I? Right. Right. Anyway, you want to talk about the ghosts? Well, the ghosts we'll talk about tomorrow. Lots of ghosts for tomorrow. It's a ghost night tomorrow. That's what you want. I'm not really into this ghost thing, but I'll do it. So there we go. When am I coming to Scotland? Hopefully very soon. I love Scotland. Absolutely the best place on the planet. Have I been to Stafford? Right. I've been to Staffordshire. Yes. Okay. Yes. Ghost night tomorrow. Yes. That's what you want. So you want everything to be ghostly tomorrow. Right. Well, Lady Min will have to man up about the ghosts tomorrow. We might have to get something spooky to put in the background. That's what we'll have to do. I don't know. Have I been to Dorset? Yes, I love Dorset. Lovely place. Have I been to Liverpool? Of course, I had to go there to see the dreadful Richard and Judy. The Albert Docks, awful. Right. Have I ever considered moving to Peckham? No. I'm not planning on moving to Peckham. Did I ever meet Robert Maxwell? Yes. Yes. Is so and so my mother? No. Absolutely not. Not my mother. No. Do I drink coffee? No. Don't like coffee. Right. What was Robert Maxwell like? An aggressive piece of shit. He's a vile, evil. He was a vile, evil man, and he shouted at me, and I didn't like it. So, no, I don't like Robert Maxwell. Nothing good to say about Robert Maxwell. Right. I like Yorkshire tea. Yes, I do agree. I'm running out of Yorkshire tea. If anyone wants to send me some Yorkshire tea, please do. It'd be wonderful. I need some. I like my gin. If you want to send me gin, I'd prefer that, actually. I love a bottle of gin. Right. There we go. Have I met the late Queen? I get asked this all the time by all these people on here. I don't know why maybe you haven't. I'm sorry, perhaps you didn't see a previous edition. I have encountered the Queen, but I've never personally been introduced to her. No. I was very sad I haven't, but I do like Queen Camilla, and I think King Charles is an absolutely charming gentleman, absolutely wonderful. Right. Can I get mini cheddars in France? No. But I'm sure some English people coming to visit will bring me some, and they'll bring me some more Yorkshire tea, because that's what I need. I need gin, tea, and mini cheddars. That's the only three things I actually need in my life. So hopefully somebody might send them. Have I ever met William and Harry? Yes, I have met both of those people. I don't know them very well. I'm quite friendly with Samantha Markle, not Meghan Markle. I have met Pippa Middleton on a number of occasions, and her brother. They're not bad people either. So, and I've met Mrs. Middleton, the mother of the current Princess of Wales. So there we go. Do you like orange or gold Yorkshire tea? I like plain old, random, just normal Yorkshire tea. Miss Marple says Samantha Markle is lovely. Totally agree with you. Right. Have you met Harry and Meghan? As I've said, I've met Prince Harry. I've never met Meghan Markle. No. Well, she's the Duchess of Sussex now, but no, I've never met her. Am I a member of the AA? No, I'm not a member of any. I'm not a member of anything, so I'm not a member of the AA. There we go. Right. Have you met Charles Althorp? You're meaning Diana's brother. He's Viscount. Yeah, no, I've never met him. No. Do I like Twining's tea? No, absolutely not. I like Yorkshire tea. Have I met Michael? Did I ever meet Michael Hutchins? No, never met him. You love my jumper. That's very nice of you to say, Adam. Thank you. Sorry, Katerina. Have you met Lady Colin Campbell? Yes, I have met Lady Colin Campbell, and she's been very polite to me. And I like her children, and they're very nice people. Did you enjoy Margaret Rutherford as Miss Marple? Yes, I didn't mind her but I think I preferred Joan Hickson. Joan Hickson was the very best actress ever to play Miss Marple.
Lights on me.
What do you think should be done about Prince Andrew? I think throw him in the bin. He's revolting. He's disgusting. Have you ever met Cilla Black? Yes, I had to have dinner with the ghastly Cilla Black. And she was the rudest person I've ever had to spend an evening with. She was boring as hell. All she talked about was her brand new Bentley and how she had her name sewn into the headrest. She was the most yawn-inducing, boring piece of rubbish I've ever had to spend an evening with. I cannot stand Cilla Black. She was dreadful, awful woman, an apologist for Jimmy Savile and all the rest of them. She's not a nice woman. It's no wonder they attacked her grave once she was dead. She was a disgusting, horrible, wicked woman. Didn't like her. Margaret Rutherford, yes, she was a great lady, absolutely wonderful, absolutely fabulous. And that's that. Any news on Barrymore? Barrymore is a coward. Barrymore has not had the courtesy to respond to my request. So Barrymore is a loser, isn't he? So guess what? We can now call him out for what he is. 48 hours later, Michael Barrymore. Where are you, Barrymore? Barrymore, you're a piece of junk. You cannot even face me, Barrymore. You go on your TikTok. TikTok, 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 TikTok. Pathetic. Come on, Barrymore. Man up, grow up and face me. I gave you 48 hours. You're a coward. You're a right rat. Don't worry. I'm going to now make it worse. I'll write something and I will expose you, Barrymore, because you are a rotten piece of rubbish and you have done damage to the Lubbock family. It is time you answered the questions. Instead of making videos on your bloody bog, your lav, your crapper, whatever we want to call it, disgusting of you. It's a revolting habit for a start. Nobody makes videos in their bathroom area, but you do because you're disgusting. It is time you explained why 9 people went to a party on the date in March 2001, and only 8 people lived. Shame on you, Michael Barrymore. Michael Barrymore is a coward, as Linda Jo says. Precisely. Well said. Thank you, Linda Jo. Whoever you are, Linda Jo, my cheers to you. You've got it. Barrymore hid. Yes, says another one. Come on, Barrymore, says Tina. Yep. Bog off, Barrymore, says Mandy. We hate Michael Barrymore. Michael Barrymore is a piece of scum. He's a piece of detritus. And what he did to the Lubbock family, he took away the father of 2 children. Come on, Barrymore. Man up, grow up, show up, and face me, Barrymore. I am prepared. Sue me, Barrymore. Do whatever you want to me, Barrymore. I'm not. You're prepared to go on your effing TikTok where you can make money, Barrymore. Barrymore, you're a coward. I have given you the opportunity to speak. I have a huge audience who want to know about you, who are people who are supporters of the Lubbock family. Barrymore, this is your final chance, mate. Barrymore, you're not my mate, by the way. You're a piece of scum. You're absolutely disgusting. But I'll let you speak. We can have a debate. Tell me why you ran away. Why did you take people to your house with your fake swimming pool, your swimming pool that you could not supposedly swim in? So why did you have a swimming pool in the first place? That's a bit cuckoo, odd. Barrymore, you're a very odd man. So why did you do that? Why did you talk about how you were desperate for sex in the taxi? And the taxi driver reports all you wanted to do was shag somebody, and that was your exact words, and you were desperate to have sexual with a man, Mr. Barrymore. So, Mr. Barrymore, why, Mr. Barrymore, did these women who were present, the three women, why did they talk about how you were rubbing cocaine into the gums of people at the party? So you were participating in illegal activities, Mr. Barrymore. You were participating in criminality in that regard, if that is true. Why did neighbors hear screams at around about 5 a.m., Mr. Barrymore? Probably because somebody was being murdered. Why, at around about 6 a.m., did you and your little entourage, after the police were called, run away? You ran away with the bin man, Mr. Barrymore, and things that vanished from that house after your agent had turned up before that included the pool handle, the pool thermometer, and the door handle, which were probably the agents of murder of poor Stuart Lubbock. So, Mr. Barrymore, man up, grow up, show up, face me, Barrymore. You're a coward, and I will call you a CUNT because you're a disgrace for what you did to that family. Terry Lubbock died with no justice for his child. There are two children who have no justice for their father, and you are making videos on the bog, on the shitter, the lavatory, whatever you want to call it. That is cruel to those people. Outrageous. I think that Barrymore he's sick in the head. It's disgusting what he's doing to this poor family. He's piling more misery upon them with these horrible videos. He must be stopped. This man is making money out of this. He's driving around in a £75,000 Porsche. I don't like Michael Barrymore. Michael Barrymore is one of the worst people on the planet. He dressed up once as Hitler, and then he got on his knees and he worshipped Jimmy Savile when he was in the Big Brother house. Is this somebody that the world should even talk about? This man should be consigned to the history book. It's disgusting that we're even still talking about him. He's revolting. He's absolutely, he dressed up as Hitler. He worshipped the paedophile Jimmy Savile, the worst paedophile in British history. What is wrong with us? We are wrong for allowing him to still have airtime. This man should be taken off the bloody air. It's a disgrace. I'm so angry about this. It makes me furious. Yes, Barrymore is a deviant. He is yuck. I really disliked Barrymore. Yep, there we go. You're all agreeing with me. Freddie Starr dressed as Hitler. No, it's not Freddie Starr. It was Michael Barrymore who got down on his knees and worshipped him. Don't be so silly. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something else. He's a social climber. He's awful. I don't like him. Whatever. All this. Yeah. Thank you for all your comments. But absolutely revolting. This creep got down on his knees and worshipped Jimmy Savile, the worst paedophile known in British history. Famous paedophile. And he's still allowed to have all this TikTok nonsense. He dressed up as Hitler. You know, a man who killed thousands of Jewish people. Disgusting. This is an outrage. It's a disgusting state of affairs. This man, Barrymore, needs to be bashed into oblivion. He is a piece of filth. He's a piece of scum. He's disgusting. He's a racist. He's a bigot. And guess what? You know, he's a suspected murderer. So I will call him out for what he is. Come on, Barrymore. Sue me, Barrymore. I want you, Barrymore, take me to court. I'd love you to take me to court, Michael Barrymore, because you can't even be bothered to face up to me. I gave you 48 hours. I said, come and try and speak with me. Sue me, Barrymore. You are a suspected murderer.
And
It's
why did they allow him on ITV News? Why? Why did they allow him an interview on ITV
I'm getting shouting in the background, which is
it's true.
Somewhat relevant.
Why did they allow that?
It's nothing to do with ITV News, but there we go. Mr. Barrymore.
They allowed him on ITV News. They gave him an audience. Why?
No, it's nothing to do with ITV News, but anyway, right. Rolf Harris and him, yes, he did have a great friendship with him. So there we go. Another part of the connection, lovely quality people. All these horrible people from that era were very bad people. But may I speak? Shut up, please, in the background. I don't need any interruption. I need to speak. The Lubbock family lost Stuart. Stuart was a father to two children, and those two children lost their parent. And Terry, the lovely Terry, lost his son. And Terry died without getting justice. Sue, who I know, the lovely Sue, very nice lady, all she wants is justice. And Michael Barrymore needs to man up, grow up, and show up and tell the truth. 9 people went to a party. At that party, I don't know if 9 people went or not, because I suspect others could have appeared later, but I don't know. But 9 people were known to have gone to the party, but 9 people went to a party. It's a bit like Agatha Christie. 8 of them lived. Why did two of them run away before anything was dealt with? Three of them couldn't have committed the crime because they were women. So let's get to the bottom of the barrel. Let's get to the truth. Barrymore, man up, grow up, Barrymore, show up, answer my questions, Barrymore. You're a piece of rubbish. You're an absolute piece of junk. You couldn't even bother to respond to me. You wrote to me 48 hours ago, allegedly, if it were you. I don't know. But now you don't bother to turn up. Come on, Barrymore, show up. You're never going to do it, I know, because it's too dangerous for you. You're too busy making money on this fucking TikTok. Shame on you. You are making a fortune and buying yourself a £75,000 Porsche 4x4 on TikTok. I want you to face me, Barrymore. I've been calling on you for years, but you're scared of me because you're great friends with that lovely Baroness Marie Claire, the woman you were rolling around on the floor with, who I also helped to have convicted for her racism. You know, you really have a quality class of friendship, don't you, Barrymore? You're an absolute load of old rubbish, Barrymore. And Barrymore, you make me sick. That's all I shall say about you. You are an appalling stain on humanity. And what you've done to the Lubbock family, you know, there are two children who don't have a father because of you, because of you invited everyone to that house. So ultimately, I blame you. Whatever is whatever is the situation, let's blame you. You were responsible for inviting people to your drug fueled party. And that poor man, you know, he was starstruck and he thought, oh, well, you know, this is going to be nice. He wasn't a drug addict. He was never, ever into drugs. Everyone has told me the same story. I've spoken to many, many witnesses. You were well known as a coked up piece of pest. You're a pest. You're a petulant pain in the arse, and you're a nuisance. And what you did to that poor ex-wife of yours also, shame on you. Poor Cheryl. Poor Cheryl. And she said, you lied about your swimming. You could swim. You're an absolute liar. Why would you have a swimming pool at your house if you couldn't swim? You're an absolute piece of rubbish. You are a complete loser. So, Michael Barrymore, sue me. I'd love to be sued. Please take no. You haven't taken on my challenge, so now I want you to sue me. Sue me, Michael Barrymore. You're an evil bastard. Sue me. I want you to sue me, please, please. I'd love it. I'd love to go to court with you, Michael Barrymore, because it'd be a great court case. Because you're not going to win. You little bastard. You're a rat. What you did to that poor man in that swimming pool, all you people did. I'm not saying you personally murdered him, but I'm saying what happened that night. Disgusting. And you all lied. You're a bunch of lying creeps. 9 people went to a house, 8 of them lived. And one of the people at that house has a criminal offense record for violence, your ex-lover, and you ran away. Why did you run away? Why did you leave the scene of a crime, Michael Barrymore? You left the scene of a crime before the police arrived, and you supposedly were seen by the women emptying cupboards of something. So what was in those cupboards that you were emptying? What did you take away with the bin man? Because the bin man was helping you take them all away. We all know what you're up to, but I'm not going to accuse you of it publicly. But Barrymore, I would like Barrymore to suffer. Yes, who has a pool if they can't swim? It's ridiculous, says Keeley. Precisely, yes. Why would you have a swimming pool? Who would build a swimming pool at their house if they weren't into swimming? And that's what he said. But Cheryl in her book said, yeah, he could swim. So either Cheryl's a liar or he's a liar. And Cheryl's dead. So, of course, he will blame Cheryl. It's an absolute shocker. I should produce my own documentary on Barrymore. Well, maybe I should, because I do know so much about this story now. The 31st of March 2001, a terrible day. Absolutely shocking day. I know so much about this story, and it's disgusting. He did not just drop dead, as K. Robb says here. He ran away to save himself. Wouldn't you run if you... Why would you run if you were innocent? Precisely. He was not innocent of something. He ran away because he didn't want to lose his career. Michael Barrymore is the most self-serving piece of shit on the planet. And what he's done to those poor children, and Terry Lubbock, and Terry I used to go and visit, nice man, and Sue, lovely lady who I've spent time with. Why did these poor people have to be dragged through this? They have had their lives taken away from them and everything else, and he makes videos in a toilet. I hate the word toilet. It's the most common word on the planet, but that's what he called it. I call it the shitter, the bog, the crapper, the lav, whatever. He made this video the other day and said he wanted revenge on everybody who'd hurt him. He is harming them yet again. He does not know when to shut his almighty gob. His mouth is bigger than the South. He's so arrogant, and it's horrible what he's doing to this family. And they are a decent family. They don't need any more of this. Leave them alone, Barrymore. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of detritus. You're absolutely revolting. This poor man left behind 2 children and a father, and now the father's dead, and the father and I used to correspond all the time. He was a nice man, Terry. Poor Terry. And Terry always said to me, all I want before I die is justice for my son. And that man's never going to give it to me. Well, sadly, Terry was right. Terry was 100% right. He never got justice from that wanker Barrymore. That wanker Barrymore is an evil, evil man. He is vile. He's sick. He's disgusting. He's worse than any kind of stain on humanity that you could ever come across. He makes me feel sick just to even hear his voice. He's revolting. He's there's nothing worse. He did a celebrity come dine with me and throwing plates on the floor at Pat Sharp's house as a joke, says Jake. He's a true narcissist. I don't know who Pat Sharp who was, but I'm sure he probably did go on Celebrity Come Dine with Me. He goes on anything he can go on. Awful. He was sat with Gary Glitter on another program. Oh, well, that's not surprising. Gary Glitter is, of course, a convicted paedophile. No wonder that, yes, there we go. You're taking your time with this monster. Come on, Karma. You want a quiz? We've already had a quiz, so you've missed that MT. Right. I do apologize, but I have to say the family of Lubbock have been very decent to me. They are very civilized people, and all they want is justice. They want someone to be held responsible for the murder and rape of Stuart Lubbock on the 31st of March 2001 at the Roydon, Essex bungalow of Michael Barrymore, a man who ran away from the property before the police turned up. So, who should be the first person to be suspect? You know, if there were 9 people and one of them ran away and one of them happened to be the owner of the house, the first person to be the suspect should be the owner of the house who ran away. He is a coward. He's a disgrace. And what he did to that family was pile misery upon misery on them. And there are 2 children who have grown up with no father. So let's think of the truth here. Michael Barrymore, you should sue me if you want. You won't, because you're pathetic. Go on, sue me, Barrymore. Love it if you did. I'd absolutely love to be sued by Michael Barrymore. I've gone on about him for years. So come on. Bring it on, Barrymore. I'd like to see you sue me. No, there's no more sign of Michael Barrymore on my little feed here. You know, the other day, Michael Barrymore popped up every moment. Supposedly, if it were Michael Barrymore, it's probably some fake. But there we go. Anyway, we move on. So there we go. Next question. Any more questions before we finally go? But Michael Barrymore, please sue me, Barrymore. I'd love you to sue me. It'd be fantastic if you did. Great court case that'd be. Why didn't the court prosecute? Because they all just conflagrated the evidence. It was all a complete mess. So no, nothing ever works out. Nobody spoke precisely. Essex Police, useless police force. There's another answer. Yep. Totally useless. Same with Jeremy Bamber. Same with Dr. Jones. Same with the Range Rover murders. You know, you name it. Essex Police. They mess it up. Essex Police are the worst police force in Britain. Many people will say the Metropolitan Police is, but I'd say Essex is worse. There we go. Right, next question. If you have a dinner party of these villains, which villains? He had 6 guest places. Who would I choose? 6 villains at a dinner party. What do you mean villains? What? If I could have dinner with Michael Barrymore, I wouldn't want to have dinner with Michael Barrymore. I'd rather eat wasps, snails, and paving stones. Sorry. No, I wouldn't have a dinner party with people I don't like. It's not a very nice idea. It's a very strange idea, actually. Sorry. Jake, I don't like your concept. But if you're saying I should have dinner with 6 people I don't like, if I could have 6 people I don't like, okay, well I'll have Barrymore. If you want 6 I don't like, we can have Lizzie Cundy, Anthea Turner. Gosh, I don't know. Could have mixture of men and women. Gosh, you're really challenging me here. 6 people I don't like. I've got 3 of them there, and now I need to find some more men. I suppose that awful Andrew Tate. He can go in there. Oh yeah, Richard and Judy. There you go. That's 6. There you go. You've got it. Got it. You can have Richard and Judy. There's 6 awful people. Yeah, that's the dinner party from hell, if that's what you wanted. Oh, I didn't even. No, I would never bother with Tamara. Forget Tamara. Oh, forget that. Tamara couldn't even attend. She couldn't even get to breakfast, let alone dinner. She's too busy titty feeding. So no, we don't have time for her. No, we haven't got time for dinner with Tamara. No, and Fergie, no. She's always in bed by about 5 because she's so drunk. She's a right old alky. Philip Schofield, yeah, well, he's awful. But no, the dinner party from heaven. I don't know. You mean a nice dinner party, or do you mean the gay nightclub? I don't know. It just sounds like a weird thing. Dinner party at heaven. No, I don't want a dinner party at the gay nightclub. Thanks. No. You'd like Piers Morgan. Would I like Bernie Eccleston at a dinner party? No. Ghislaine, well, no, she's busy in prison. Ghislaine is enjoying her vegan dining, so there we go. No, a positive dinner party. You know, anyone from, I don't know. People say, you know, have a dinner party with anyone from the past, anyone from the future, whatever. Well, it'd obviously be Margaret Thatcher. I love Margaret. But I'm talking about people I've actually met. Right. Okay. Well, I'll throw in people I haven't met. Margaret would obviously be number 1 in any list. Right. Margaret and I would say Michael Morpurgo. I love him. I love everything he does. Fantastic man. So that's 2. I've never met him, but I'd like to meet him. J.K. Rowling. She could go in because she's a brilliant woman.
Me.
Someone fun. Patricia Routledge, of course. Yes, she has to go in. Let me think. Another one. Who else makes me laugh or something funny? No. You're making me struggle here. So we've got Margaret Thatcher, Patricia Routledge, various others. Mr. Nubar Galbenkian, yes, I would love to have had him. And let me think. Gosh, it's very hard. Who made me very happy as a child? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Gosh, I can't do these kind of things, but there you are. You got 5. That'd be enough. And there's me. So that's 6. That'll do. There we are. Right. Idris Elba. No, I'm not that greatly into him. Oh, Bernie Grant. No. There we are. Anyway, thank you ever so much for your participation, your enthusiasm. It's been absolutely wonderful. I think we're running out of steam. So, especially me, because I've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I say happiness to you all. And I thank you all for your kind participation. And I say good night and Laura love, as Cilla Black would have said. Laura laughs, or whatever she came out with, or some old rubbish. And I say night, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. We hopefully won't have any mice in the night. That's another thing, another story for another day. And good night and good gardening. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night.